Joining me now is Matt Schlapp, the chairman of the American Conservative Union. Matt, appreciate your being here. Thank you.
Great to be with you.
So with the president's agenda effectively in turmoil, is there a risk that more Republicans buck the president, specifically on his rejection of a special prosecutor that is obviously not a popular position right now?
Yeah, look, you always worry about this. This was a very early legislative loss for a president that enjoys a big majority in the House and a slim majority in the Senate. So I think that's always the concern. Does this kind of snowball and turn more negative, or does the president continue to be on offense as he's been with the selection of Neil Gorsuch, who I think looks likely to be put on the Supreme Court, and all these executive actions and administrative actions that they're taking? There's a lot of change going on in Washington.
So specifically on this Russia issue, though, let me ask you, public opinion not with Republicans on this, even before the FBI publicly disclosed its investigation into Donald Trump's team, 2/3 of Americans wanted a special prosecutor to handle this, effectively to put it to rest, including 43% of Republicans. What do you make of that?
I don't think people know what these terms are so much. What's a special prosecutor? What's an independent counsel? What's a select committee? It sounds like
they want something other than what already exists, though.
Yeah, I think what they want is they want answers. By the way, I want answers, too. I'm a Republican. I'm a conservative. I think it's fair for people to ask, was there inappropriate contact? I think at the end we'll find out there wasn't, but I don't think it's fair just to whitewash it. Let's get the answers. The other thing I want to know is, what was the surveillance done by the previous administration? Was it all just done in a standard way or not? I think I'm troubled by the fact that of our conversations can be swept up in these what they call routine sweeps. I don't think that's necessarily something that Americans love, the idea that it affects our politics, that one administration can potentially spy on an incoming administration. It's a lot of questions here.
You said you want answers to those questions, so I guess one question to you would be, do you have full confidence right now in the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes?
I totally do, and I don't really understand this latest controversy. I guess people are trying to make something of the fact that he came to the White House to go to a SCIF and to get some confidential information. I will tell you, as someone who worked in a White House for 4 years, I had congressmen in and out of my office. Congressmen came to our White House constantly, so that's not an unusual thing.
But so just to be clear on that, though, isn't it a little bit bizarre, you say it's not unusual, that he would come to the White House, though, to gather this information from a person that he says is not a White House staffer, but it could still be a member of the National Security Council. Then he would go back, make a public statement about it, and come back the next day to the White House to tell the president about it. Doesn't that at least create the appearance of some form of interference when even the president himself says he wants an impartial investigation into this?
This is why these questions have to be thoroughly investigated and really made public. I don't want to compromise our national security, but I do want to make sure that I think these are very legitimate questions that people are asking. I think for the people who are under the gun here, they need it for their own reputations, but we all need it because, I don't think it's good for the president if we're hung up in this question about what happened in the election. It's better for him, too, if we can get the answers to these very important questions.
So let me talk to you, if I can, quickly. The president now says that he needs to work with Democrats, that he's open, frankly, to working with Democrats on his agenda. I just want your take on this. Why would Democrats bail him out right now, given the problems he's had over the course of less than 100 days?
They're not going to bail us out. Republicans need to understand something very clearly, that if we don't together as a team, we're not going to have very many legislative successes. If we don't have legislative successes, it's hard to go back to the American people and said it was a good idea to put us in charge of Congress and to put us in charge of the White House.
The president says he needs to work with Democrats. Is that a good strategy on his part?
Look, the president's saying the right thing, which is he should always be open to the idea of working with Democrats, but they are not going to bail our party out. If we're going to repeal Obamacare, pass a big tax bill, get a budget through, and all these other big questions, we've got to work better together as a team, and that starts with letting all of us, including conservatives, help craft these major pieces of legislation.
Matt Schlapp, it's always good to see you. We appreciate your time and your thoughts. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter.